Hello once again, we're back for the next piece in our Classical Days journey, and that is Four Norwegian Dances, Opus 35 by Norwegian composer Edvard Grieg. So I think he's most famously known for his Peer Gynt. I think that's how it's pronounced. I certainly have a great performance of that in my collection, but I actually thought I would start with something that is still popular. This is definitely something that continues to be played in concerts to this day, but it is maybe less known than the Peer Gynt and maybe one or two other things he wrote, so I thought it would be good to do this. The first movement in this four-part suite of Norwegian dances is an Allegro marcato. Allegro means fast, with energy, and marcato, my understanding is that it means to play each note, each moment, distinctly with emphasis, as if essentially separated, not like a continuous run, but each note is to be played in its own place with emphasis. So yes, that's my understanding. Let's give it a listen, and this is another performance by the Gothenburg Symphony Orchestra, Neeme Järvi conducting. And it is the first movement of Edvard Grieg's Norwegian dances. incredible. Another one with a lot of fire. I was actually thinking during that middle, more melodic and slow section, if memory serves, all four of the dances in this suite of Norwegian dances follow a three-part structure. I think the second movement, the one that we'll listen to next, flips it, meaning I think it goes slow, fast, slow, but I think movements 1, 3, and 4, if I'm recalling correctly, have that same formula. It starts with flash and power, goes into a smoother and slower section, and then finishes with flash and power again. So I think all four movements have the same basic structure, but the second movement flips the order, or switches it to the other, like BAB instead of ABA. In any case, yes, we have the full orchestra on display again, more timpani. I love how you hear that main lead intense melody first with the, I think, violins, and then the cellos the second time around. We've got triangle, we've got some brass flares, so yes, more power and intensity, and I enjoy the way a few of the different pieces that I've gone through in this second day of Classical Days, they have similar like folk dance stylings, but for some different places. It has a really nice balance to today's pieces. In any case, I'll be right back with the second movement. In fact, I don't think I mentioned, my understanding is that this was composed by Grieg in 1880, but I don't think he published them until 1881. So yeah, more or less 150 years ago, a little bit less than that, obviously, but yes, definitely a long time ago. In any case, I'll be back with the second movement in a moment. Peace.